Should you go overlanding alone? Hi, everybody. I'm Rob, and this is Storm Pro Overland, where we talk about going on adventures, road tripping, camping, and just generally getting out and enjoying life. And this week, that's the topic we're going to be exploring. We're going to go over the pros and cons of going out and overlanding or outdoor adventuring by yourself. And at the end, do kind of a wrap up and see what my final thoughts are on the subject. The biggest pro for me about going overlanding by yourself is being by yourself. My normal day job involves a good amount of customer service type work where I get stuck dealing with people that I probably don't want to deal with. And it's nice to get out and just not have to worry about talking to other people and worrying about other people. And if I'm going overlanding with other people, it's people I like and people I want to be around. But even then, sometimes it's nice to just have some time by yourself. It kind of boils down to, and this is going to sound horrible, so just hear me out. When I go out by myself, it is the only time that I will let myself truly be selfish. When it comes to just life in general, there's so many obligations is a really bad word. It's got a kind of a bad connotation, but we have so many obligations and responsibilities and expectations that we're kind of saddled with, whether it's being a father, a son, a husband, a brother, a government employee. All of these things, while they're good things, and I wouldn't change them. I wouldn't, not one bit. I even I really like all of them except my job, and I still kind of like my job. I might be looking for another one of these days, but they do all come with responsibilities and expectations, and those are all things where, while I get from all of those things, I also give a lot to all of those things. So it is nice to occasionally, it's kind of my self-care. It's nice to occasionally go out and be selfish for a little bit. It's kind of my way to go and fill my cup back up, if you get that analogy. The other great thing about going out overlanding alone is you have time alone with your thoughts. And this is one that helps me, really helps me a lot. Is I'm constantly thinking about this or thinking about the next project or what video should I do or what I need to do at work or, oh wait, what time's kids dance practice, or I'm always got something running through my head, which leaves a lot of thoughts or issues unresolved. I don't always have time to sit down and really process everything. And it could be something little, or from last week, or it could be something major from years ago. You need time to process things. And for me, that's the easiest way for me to do that, is to just go out by myself, middle of nowhere, no cell signal, no nothing, and be alone with my thoughts and process things. And it really helps me kind of find closure with some of my thoughts. Back to that kind of the self. This is more of the fun part of the selfishness. You just eat what you want. I kind of joke to myself that I'm like a wannabe amateur chef with an off-roading problem. That one of the best parts of going out is getting to your campsite for the night and making food and making just whatever you want. Um, if I'm going out for a couple of nights and I'm all by myself, I'm definitely going to make whatever I want. And it's nice to not worry about what anyone else wants. I might just make tacos every night. If my wife and kid are with me, they're not going to want tacos every night, especially my wife. My kid might, maybe 2 nights, she might be okay, but it's it's just different when you have other people. You you are happy to be concerned with what they want. You want them to be happy, so you're considerate of them. And my wife's got dietary restrictions, and my kid has things she just doesn't like or things she really does like, and they change a lot. So it's a lot more mental effort when it comes to planning food, cooking food, and plus, if it's just me, I can plan them. I'm like, okay, I'll eat this and this and this, and I'll kind of restrict my menu to where I don't have to take every single camp cooking thing I own. I'll handpick a couple of pieces where, okay, with these things, I can make these meals and it's just easier. It, and that same kind of thing goes for planning routes. Uh, my bachelor's degree is in logistics, and sometimes I definitely will over plan a trip. I will lay out the entire route down to the foot, every campsite. I will plan out every meal, every gas stop. I mean, to the minute, and that's fun for me. It's not fun for everyone else, especially if their plan doesn't line up with my plan. There's other times that I'm going to throw a gallon of water and some sandwich stuff in the car and get a tank of gas and just go and see where I end up. And sometimes that's fun for me. But like I said, that might not be what everyone else wants to do. So it's nice to just do your own thing. I really like dispersed camping. Like I said, further away from everyone, the better. It's great. My wife is a lot happier if you're camping somewhere that has actual toilets and showers. The other thing is that when it comes to stops, I've gotten a lot better at this. But when I was younger, if we were on a road trip or something, we stopped when the car had to stop. We stopped when we needed gas. If you have to go, you could wait to go. If you want a drink, well, you wait till we have to stop anyway. We'll get a drink. Um, I have mellowed out on that a lot more. Now I stop all the time. I'll stop every hour. I mean, if I stop for gas and see something 10 miles down the road that looks interesting, I'll pull over again anyway. It doesn't matter. Uh, but it's one less thing to worry about. When do I want to stop? When do they want to stop? We've been on road trips with other people where we stopped and got gas, and then the other people didn't get gas, and then an hour later they need gas. We're gonna stop again. It just gets tricky. It's just a lot more mental and emotional effort trying to be considerate of everyone else's wants and needs. And like I said, it's nice to just occasionally go and kind of be selfish. And then when it comes to the more off-roading parts of overlanding, this is where things get tricky. I have gone on big trips solo and have started going down trails where this happened on the Alpine Loop in Colorado. I got to Poughkeepsie Gulch, I think it was, and the trail was getting pretty rough and rocky. Didn't have real big tires. I don't have I don't have a whole lot of armor on the Forerunner, and I'm not the best at picking a line through rocky terrain like that. And I knew I was by myself. So number one, no spotter. Number two, no recovery options because if I break something, I'm stuck. If I just get stuck, that's fine. I've got traction boards, I've got winch, I've got lots of options there. If something breaks, I'm in the middle of nowhere. There's no way to call anyone, and it's gonna be a long walk out. Uh, so that kind of rounds out the pros of going out by yourself. And the cons are obviously going to be kind of the flip side of a lot of these, uh, but slightly different take on them. When it comes to, we'll start with that whole off-roading part. There is really something to be said for having a second vehicle, whether it's just someone else to act as a spotter to help you get through really rough sections. It's just that extra level of safety, that extra level of confidence. And then, I would much rather just hook up, if I'm stuck in mud or sand or something, I'd much rather just hook up a tow rope real quick and get snatched out as opposed to trying to drag out winch line and find an anchor point. There may not even be somewhere to attach the winch to. A second vehicle is a huge reason to not go alone. Having that extra vehicle and that extra driver. Um, there's something I didn't cover. Well, there's not really a pro to go with it, but medical emergencies happen. They could be anything from you cutting your finger to having a heart attack, or anything can happen. If you're by yourself, you're by yourself, and There's a lot of medical things you could do to yourself, but if you are incapacitated for some reason, you hit your head and knock yourself out, if you pass out, something like that, there's no one there to help you. So when it comes to the medical part, there's a pretty big con to being out alone. Uh, the other part of having other people with you that's really nice. That's a really big pro to going with other people. It's nice to have someone to take pictures of you out doing the cool stuff you're doing. I mean, I don't know if it's an Instagram thing or what, but if I go somewhere cool and I'm going doing a really cool river crossing or climbing up a cool hill climb or just a really great view or awesome shelf road, I want a picture. I'm making a whole wall of pictures in my office, and I'm not doing it. It's not so I can try to get how many likes. It's because I like being able to look back at the pictures. I like coming home and showing people at work or my friends, like, oh, look where I went. And, look at this place we went or this thing we saw. They're neat. Or to show my family, or if it's nice to have that. And on solo trips, a lot of times I can use the drone to get cool pictures. I'll fly it out ahead, and then I'll be trying to drive and having the drone controller in one hand and pushing the picture button while I'm driving. Don't usually get the best pictures, but they're usually pretty good. And there's been other times that I've driven, got in the car in a cool spot, got out, got the camera, run 100 yards down the road, take a turn around, take a picture, run 100 yards back, get back in the car, keep driving. Man, it'd be nice to have another person to either fly the drone or get up ahead and take pictures or take videos you're doing that water crossing. That just would make things a whole heck of a lot easier. For the pros about being by yourself, I talked about that time to think. Sometimes, especially late at night, you're you're sitting around the campfire. You've had dinner, you're probably just having a drink or something. It's too late to do anything else, but it's too early to go to bed. That's when it can get a little lonely. What helps me when I'm out by myself is I've talked about it before, I have a travel journal that I try to write in. But that's the time where it would be nice to have some buddies around to talk about the day, talk about your expectations for the next day. What's the plan for tomorrow? And then that kind of rolls into the whole food thing too. I like cooking at camp. I love it. It's fun for me. I like to cook at home. I just enjoy food. Growing up, I really had a lot of food issues. I didn't like a lot of things, and it turned out that it was real little things that I didn't like that if I cooked, I could switch things up or change it up just enough, and then all of a sudden I did like it. So I've gotten to really enjoy cooking. But if you don't like cooking and you're out by yourself, well, you're stuck. You're cooking anyway. It would be kind of nice to have a group of people and be like, hey, I'll make dinner, you make breakfast, stuff like that. You can also share gear. Like there's places that I wouldn't go by myself without a winch, but if there's two cars, you don't both need a winch. I don't normally take a high lift jack. I have one. I've practiced with it, learned about it. I don't usually carry it because it's big and bulky, but if we were going out with 2 or 3 rigs, it wouldn't be hard to have one person carry one. Just extra tools, extra equipment. You kind of all share the load. Maybe you have that one guy like me who really likes to cook at camp. Okay, cool. I'll bring all the cooking stuff, and I'll carry all the food. You carry all the recovery gear. Someone else carries whatever. You can just kind of split it up, that whole extra vehicle thing. So that's kind of the pros and cons to going out by yourself or with a group. The overall, it's like everything else in life. It just depends. It's your very first trip, and it's somewhere crazy. Probably don't go by yourself. If you just don't know anyone else who's interested, and that's what's keeping you from going, maybe plan a little smaller, safer trip. Go by yourself if you have to. Just think of these pros and cons as things to think about. Maybe don't go on a really long trip by yourself. Maybe if you're going on a really long trip or somewhere really remote or really rugged, you just have to balance everything out. like I said, it's like everything in life. It's all about balance. I still generally prefer to go out by myself because that, like I said, that's kind of my time to be selfish. But the more I do it, the more I am seeing the joy in going out with other people, and it's nice. It's nice to. It's helping me get better at connecting with people, which I'm not good at. But with that, speaking of connecting, so we release this video every week on YouTube. We also release the audio as a podcast. If you didn't know, you should be able to find us on pretty much all the podcast apps. You can find us on YouTube, Stormcrow Overland. We're also on Instagram at Stormcrow Overland. Trying to build a community of like-minded individuals, help us all get better, getting out and enjoying the outdoors. So if you like what you're hearing or seeing, give us a subscribe, give us a follow, give us a like, just whatever. Help spread the word. Tell a friend. Uh, as of the recording of this video, I'm at 21 subscribers, which I know is nothing, but hey, everybody's got to start somewhere. I'm planning on doing a drawing once I hit 50 subscribers. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to work. Probably going to randomly select someone from those 50 subscribers, but like I said, not entirely sure. The prize will be a gift card good for 1 year of premium access to Onyx Off-Road. I'm an Onyx Off-Road trail guide. I really like Onyx's program. So with that, like I said, give us a like, follow, subscribe. And I just wanted to give a quick shout out to some people that are always, I always see their names popping up on Instagram, kind of liking posts and supporting me. So just a big shout out and a big thanks to Shogun Yoda, Overland with the snacks, and Bugsy with some numbers on it. I forgot, I didn't write the numbers down. Sorry, Bugsy. Just want to let you know, I see y'all liking my post. I really appreciate it. And everybody else, hey, remember, sometimes it really takes going out and getting lost before you can find yourself. Thanks for watching.